One, two, one, two, three.
Welcome to the Sneaking Into the Movies podcast. I'm Norman Davis.
And I'm Max Nathan. And this is the first annual Sneakies, where we have put together a compilation of nominations that encompass the best and brightest in the year of 2024. Norman, what did you think of the year 2024 on the whole?
On a personal level, it's a pretty good year for me. A lot of big change in my life. I don't really want to get into here, but it was a good year for me. I'll say that much. Outside of me, not the best year for the world. You know, there was an election that didn't go the way that you and I wanted it to, but
no.
Yeah, we're already reaping that. So we'll see what happens.
We're still here.
But as far as movies go, I will say there were some great movies. Obviously, after we do the Sneakies, we're going to be going over our top 12 of 2024.
Yes.
But it was a pretty lackluster year overall, I would say. I think there's two factors. One is 2023 was just so damn good, and we got so many amazing movies from amazing directors. Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, first two that come to my head. Just some of the best directors ever making their movies. So it's a little bit of a slump year, 'cause they're working on their next big, great projects. And also the strikes, that happened, obviously.
Definitely.
So I think that kind of affected more of the blockbuster side of things, which there were some fantastic blockbusters this year. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, we'll get into that. But, so yeah, it wasn't the best year, but that's not to say there weren't some pretty damn good movies. How did you feel about 2024?
I thought it was a decent year. Like you said, we kind of had to go in with tempered expectations due to the strikes. That being said, I think there's a lot of great movies that came out this year, as there always are. But, in terms of it being a little bit of a down year, I would say that there's not as many what I would call legitimate banger classics. But it was a deep year, in my opinion. There was a lot of stuff towards the back half of the top 12 when I was doing my ranking that I thought could have slid in. But yeah, I think that, 2024 has come and gone, and it was a good one.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to take us into our first sneaky here? I know it's a little more unorthodox than the rest of them. Do you want to explain that to the folks at home?
Yes. So just a little background before we get into the nominations. We did a ranked choice vote, just like the Oscars. I mean, we did our nominations. We sort of just threw them out there between Norman and I, what we thought was the best of the year for each of the individual categories. And then we did a ranked choice vote among those nominations. And for those of you that don't know, that is how the Oscar voting shakes out. They do a ranked choice vote. So we thought we would do what the guys in the big leagues do. So our first sneaky is a little bit unorthodox, like you said. This is the best first watch sneaky. Now, Norman and I are young guys. We have not seen every movie in the world just yet, but we're working on it. Yeah, we're getting there. But this is for non-2024 releases that Norman and I saw for the first time this year. So, Norman, what was your best first watch of the year 2024?
This was a hard one for me. I watched a lot of bangers that I hadn't seen. Before I get into my pick, I just want to say my number two, I had a really hard time picking this down, but I just want to bring it up because today we lost a freaking living legend, Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Very sad stuff. I watched The Conversation for the first time in 2024, and it was incredible. It was the best performance I've seen from him. It wasn't quite my number one, like I said. I just wanted to bring it up because I woke up to some very sad news about one of cinema's greats.
Yep. Rest in peace to Gene Hackman. But yeah, that's Gene Hackman. It's great.
He was great.
and he will be missed. So was that your best first watch, or?
So that was number 2 for me if I had to pick. But number 1, I just couldn't not have this be it. It was Phantom of the Paradise. Phantom of the Paradise was directed by Brian De Palma. He's probably most known for the first Mission Impossible as well as Carrie. Those are his big 2 movies. One week I was just like, I'm going to watch a couple of his movies. And Phantom of the Paradise took the cake for me as far as De Palma and just older movies I watched last year. I kind of described it to you. It is like Phantom of the Opera if it was laced with like a Four Loko and a monster. It was just nuts.
When you said that, I wanted to watch it immediately.
It is fantastic. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to make it sound like any less than it is, but it's just a very different take on Phantom of the Opera, a classic work that I'm not even like a particularly huge fan of. Like I didn't go into this because I love Phantom of the Opera, but it's definitely my favorite interpretation of that. It is incredible. It is colorful. It is sexy. It is wacky. It is terrifying. It is everything you want from a movie, and I cannot recommend it enough.
That's incredible. I will have to watch Phantom of the Paradise, directed by Brian De Palma in 1974, because that is Norman's best first watch of 2024.
Without a doubt.
My best first watch is 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet in 1957. What's more to say, or what is there to say that hasn't already been said about 12 Angry Men? It's a classic. It's one of those classic movies that I hadn't seen yet, and in 2024, I got to it, and I wasn't disappointed. Henry Fonda is incredible. Sidney Lumet's direction, incredible. I haven't really seen a movie do so much with so little quite like this. It takes place almost entirely in this single location, in this room, where they're deciding whether someone is innocent or guilty. And it's totally riveting. You would think that, obviously in worse hands, that kind of thing would be pretty tough and could be monotonous, but it is thrilling every step of the way. And 12 Angry Men is my best first watch of 2024.
A classic by definition. There are
yes.
few movies as good as 12 Angry Men. Glad you finally checked it out. It is, like you said, not much more to say about that movie that hasn't been said. But yeah, so check these out. Let us know if y'all watched any movies that didn't come out in 2024 that had a lasting impact on you. We know where to find you.
Yes.
So why don't I break out our first envelope here? Got it in my suit pocket right here. And this is going to be the best breakout performance. So a breakout performance is typically an actor or actress's kind of first big performance. Pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, we had kind of had trouble with this one. It was a little hard to pick. It may not be someone you haven't heard of. Just kind of like a performance that we hadn't seen from an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that's all right with you, I'm going to start reading the nominations here. So the nominees are Aaron Pierre, Rebel Ridge, Fred Heschinger, Thelma, Ariana Grande, Wicked, Isaac Wang, Dee Dee, and Katie O'Brien, Love Lies Bleeding. What a great nominee list, Max.
Great list.
If I say so myself.
I see a lot of people that I would be happy with winning here.
Yeah.
We did make the nominations, so.
We did make the nominations,
that makes sense.
Yeah. But let me crack open the envelope here. Let me see. And I see Ariana Grande for Wicked Part 1. Woo!
Congratulations to Ariana Grande for Wicked.
I feel like what is left to be said about Ariana Grande and Wicked, as our listeners may know, Max and I, we weren't the biggest Wicked heads.
No, we were not.
Yeah. It's just not really my thing, but it is completely undeniable how incredible Ariana Grande was in that movie.
Yes.
She really stole the show for me. Obviously, it's a little weird giving her breakout performance. Obviously, she is a global pop star phenomenon as well as a classic Nickelodeon actor. But this was kind of her first time being in a really big movie like this. And what a great first performance of her. When I left Wicked, the only thing I could think about was Ariana Grande's got to be in more movies. She is wicked talent actress. She's also on SNL for Wicked, and she was hilarious in that too. I don't know if you watched, but
Yeah, I saw some of it.
some really funny bits. I really like the Celine Dion UFC bit. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
that
saw
was
one.
funny.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, what a performance from Ariana Grande in Wicked Part 1. Seems like she is the front runner to win the Oscar too, and that'd be very cool to see. But if she doesn't, she'll have her sneaky. So,
Yep, she will
Max.
have her sneaky.
anything else you want to say about Ariana Grande and Wicked?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Ariana Grande since the Victorious days. It was really exciting to see her take on, such a big project like Wicked. And she knocked it out of the park. So she gets our best breakout performance, Sneaky, this year, in the year of 2024.
Woo! Max, why don't you go ahead and pick up that next envelope?
All right, I'm picking it up. Let me just get it out the pocket here. Let's see. All right. That was me ripping it open, by the way. Kind of sounded like me making a noise with my mouth, but it wasn't.
Did sound like you're about to spit, but
Yeah, a little bit, but that wasn't what was happening. So, all right. I'm rating it here. It says achievement in crashing out. And these are for the performers that really went there this year. And our nominees are Nicolas Cage for Longlegs, Alessandro Nivola for Craven the Hunter, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley for The Substance, because they are one, Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and Lily Rose Depp in Nosferatu.
what a group we got here.
Yes. Okay, and opening up, I see Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley for The Substance.
Woo!
Woo!
Respect the balance.
Yes, respect the balance. Incredible performances from these two. They really went for it in this movie. I specifically want to cite Margaret Qualley going, "Control yourself." That was a phenomenal delivery among many phenomenal deliveries from the two actresses in that film.
Yeah, they were both incredible. I love The Substance. I'm so happy it is getting award recognition because they used to try and kill you if you try to nominate a horror movie for Best Picture. But here we are. This movie is so good, not even the old snobs at the Academy can try and hide from it.
Nope.
Incredible crashing out from both of the two. And a
And
year
all of
full
our
of great
nominees.
crash outs. Yeah, all of our nominees and even more. Just want to say shout out Austin Butler and Dune 2. What a crash out. But yeah, it had to be Demi and Margaret. They were fantastic at crashing out. Which sometimes I love a good crash out. I don't know about you.
I do
But,
too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a crash out in a movie. But yeah, should I move on to the next award here?
Yes.
All right. So I got the envelope here. It says here, least awful superhero movie. Let me preface this by saying, originally it was called Best Superhero Movie, but after I read the nominees, and mind you, this is every superhero movie that came out in the year of 2024, we had to go with least awful. Things are looking brighter for 2025. I think we can agree there, Max. Obviously, Captain America wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be, but with like Fantastic Four and Superman and Thunderbolts on the horizon, hopefully this will be a much harder category next year.
Yep. I think it should be. I mean, it would be pretty hard not to be.
Yeah, so with all that said, let me read the nominees for least awful superhero movie. So we have Deadpool and Wolverine, Craven the Hunter, Joker Folie à Deux, Madam Web, and Venom The Last Dance. Yikes.
Pretty bad.
Yikes.
What are we gonna do here? This needs to improve.
Yeah, this was bad. We can't have another year like this for us
No.
superhero movie fans. This is bad, but let
We
me
were
open the
not.
envelope
We were
here.
not eating this year.
We were not eating. Hopefully, this is a better year. But I'm gonna open the envelope and see what we picked. Wait a minute. Do my eyes deceive me? seems like the Penguin has won with 10,000 points.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, the Penguin. That's not a movie. It's a short TV show.
It's not even a movie.
That's a prestigious HBO 8-episode event, whatever.
But yeah, we couldn't go any other way.
Yeah. This was a very, very, very rough year for the superhero genre, if you wanted to call it that. Obviously, Max and I are sucker for these movies still. We can't escape them as much as we'd like to try. We were still there for Captain America opening day. But it had to be the Penguin. Just what an incredible, incredible show. Colin Farrell. Just so good. Something that could have been whatever. Something I personally was not excited for. It was just so damn good.
Yep.
Max, what do you have to say about the Penguin?
I totally agree. I have no other thoughts, really. I think it's, we couldn't go any other way here. There's really not any superhero movies to recognize here. We would want to make it the best superhero movie, but we had to call it the least awful superhero movie because all of it was pretty awful, and we couldn't even pick one because it was such a rough year. And The Penguin was a really good comic book TV show. So we had to go with The Penguin. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Better
we
luck
make the
next
rules.
year.
If you have a problem, let us know. But
yeah,
it was a rough year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. But our next category is a little bit more fun. So in 2024, there were a lot of big movies coming out. And by big movies, I mean big visions. Big visions from big classic directors who took a gigantic swing this year. And some hit and some missed, but all we're paying attention to here is the swing. So this is the Shohei Ohtani Swing Award. For those of you who don't know, word salad. For those of you that don't know, Shohei Ohtani is a great baseball player. He is very large, and he takes a very huge swing. So, we're calling this the Shohei Ohtani Swing Award, and you'll see why momentarily when we read off the nominations. Norman, what are our nominations for the Shohei Ohtani Swing Award?
Our nominations are Kevin Costner for Horizon Part 1, Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis, Todd Phillips, I can't believe this either, Joker Folie à Deux, George Miller, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and Coralie Farge. That sounds a lot nicer. The Substance. Let me read off the winner here. These are big swings,
These
There's
are some
movies
big
here we
swings.
liked, movies here we didn't like.
I would say, similar to Shohei Ohtani, we've got about 4 hits and 1 miss here.
Yeah. So let's see what our biggest hit was, and they're not gonna like this one, Max. Francis Ford Coppola, Megalopolis.
Megalopolis. This is not a joke. This is what we're picking.
OG listeners know we loved Megalopolis. We are Megalopolis heads here on Sneaking Into the Movies, and what a swing. The madman himself, this old, disgusting freak that Francis Ford Coppola has become. He put $200 million of his own big ones into this movie, and it made $6. But you know what? He can say he did it. He made it exactly how he wanted to. This was like the most divisive movie for the 10 people who ended up seeing it. But yeah, what a swing it was. What an absolutely insane movie. Seeing that in IMAX is an experience I will never forget. Max, what do you got to say here about Megalopolis?
It's a mega masterpiece. What can I say? I don't know if I think it's a masterpiece, but it is a giant swing, and that's what we're really paying attention to here. It's like nothing I've ever seen in the movie theater, and that's what this award is all about. It's all about making big swings, and Megalopolis is that.
Give it 10 years, and everyone's going to love this movie. We can say we were here first.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
But yeah, Megalopolis, whether you love it, you hate it, it was a huge swing. He was batting crazy. and it's pretty divisive. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, it's our swing award here. You want to take us into our next award?
Yeah, let's go into the holy shit, that was actually good award for biggest surprise of the year. So, our nominees are Speak No Evil, directed by James Watkins, The First Omen, directed by Arkasha Stevenson, Twisters, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, My Old Ass, directed by Megan Park, and Inside Out 2, directed by Kelsey Mann.
So, just not to get confused, because we have a similar award coming later. This holy shit, that was actually good award it's mostly franchise stuff here. Sequels, prequels, whatever it may be. That just shouldn't have been good by whatever movie rules that we make for ourselves, because we're cynical assholes. But
in a lot of cases here, they had very annoying trailers come out.
Truth, yeah.
Which trailer here were you most annoyed by?
Most annoying trailer? Probably Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
That
was on for a long time.
I haven't seen that one just because that damn trailer. Probably is great. I don't know. But
it's good.
Before I spoil more, do you want to read our winner here?
All right, cracking open the envelope. It is The First Omen, directed by Arkasha Stevenson. Woo! Really, really great directorial debut. It has a great style, and the cinematographer went off as well. It's one of the best shot movies I saw this year. Or last year, I should say now. But, yeah, that was definitely my biggest surprise of the year. The First Omen, directed by Arkasha Stevenson.
I still haven't seen it.
You got to get on that. It was the trailer. The trailer deterred you.
It's the trailer. There's no way that it's probably really good. There's just no way it's good. I don't know what to say.
I understand where you're coming from.
I will tap in soon. But yeah, all of these movies, at least that I did see, were better than I thought they would be. Had no right being good, I would dare say. So, fun picks here. But I'm going to take us into the next award here. Unless there's anything else you want to say about The First Omen?
Nope, I'm good on The First Omen.
All right, I'll have to check that one out. But next we have the Stan Winston Award for Best Effects. And this award, I feel like I should preface by saying, it doesn't necessarily mean the best, computer CGI effects that make the most realistic, just the best use of effects to get something across. With all that being said, let me get to the nominees. Hundreds of Beavers. Beetlejuice, remind me not to say that again. Megalopolis, Dune Part 2, and I Saw the TV Glow. Max, anything you want to say here before I read off the winner?
Great effects this year. Big movies, small movies, doesn't matter. Practical, digital. Everybody did a great job this year in this category. But yeah, let's hear the winner. I'm intrigued to hear this winner here.
All right. Open up the envelope here. And who could have seen this? I Saw the TV Glow. Woo!
Really good effects in that movie.
Really good effects. Like we said, this isn't just about VFX, who's got the biggest sandworm or nothing, because obviously that would have been Dune. The effects work in I Saw the TV Glow is incredible for a low-budget movie. Ice cream monster and everything else just perfectly captured that kind of weird, colorful, vibrant neon, late 90s, early 2000s TV, whatever that movie is about. That you and I grew up with, Max, so kind of hit for us too, I think, in a very special way. So
definitely.
Yeah, incredible movie across the board too, but fantastic effects. Some of the coolest stuff I've seen in years. What do you got to say about I Saw the TV Glow here?
I think it's amazing, and I think the effects were really, really great. The ice cream monster with the melting face is just like amazing. Just really great effects. Working with a limited budget as well. Like you said, we're not working with, Dune Part 2 special effects here. But with what they had, they did an incredible job. And that is why they are the winner of the Sneaky for Best Effects.
Woo! All right, you want to take us into our next award here?
Yes. This is the Who Shot That Award for Achievement in Cinematography. And your nominees are The Girl with the Needle, Michael Dymek, Nosferatu, Jaron Blaschke, Nickel Boys, Jomo Frey, Dune Part 2, Greg Fraser, and Queer by Sayambu Muktipram.
What a great year for nice looking movies.
Yes.
Other than just these 5 nominees, there were so many I can think off the top of my head. Just beautiful, beautiful cinematography. Film is obviously a visual medium, so it is important that this stuff looks good because we are slowly have been accepting pretty ugly looking movies that make a lot of money. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say it here.
Yeah.
But
some of those movies might have won an award earlier.
Some of those
I don't
movies
know, though.
might have won an
You didn't
award
hear that from
earlier.
me.
Heyo. With that being said, why don't you just tell us who the winner is? What was the best looking movie of 2024?
The Who Shot That Award for Achievement in Cinematography goes to Dune Part 2 by Greg Fraser.
Duh.
Yeah, there was really no other person to give it to here. I mean, come on, Dune Part 2 is probably the best shot movie of the decade so far. Ever,
pretty
maybe.
much just
like
Greg Fraser just boxing with himself. I mean,
Yeah.
like the Batman, the first Dune. Just, this guy's nuts.
Yep, he's truly one of our best working today. So
Yeah.
he
We'll
gets
see.
the sneaky.
He does get the sneaky. We'll hope that with all these ridiculous Batman delays, that he'll get to work on Dune Messiah and the Batman Part 2.
That would be cool.
Yeah, he don't miss. Even something like The Creator, a movie I wasn't a huge fan of, he just made that movie look beautiful.
It did look beautiful.
But yeah, anything else about cinematography here, Max?
No, I mean, this is clearly the winner here. I thought, all of these movies were shot very well, but Dune Part 2 is my clear pick here.
Yeah, it was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking movie. All right, let me get into the next category here. And it's the what the hell is even that? Hidden gem of the year. So we tried to pick movies that really weren't like majorly distributed, like the real hidden gems, not just, something that didn't make money, whether it was a big movie or small movie, but just very small movie that kind of made its mark.
Small movie, limited distribution, and yeah, these are the movies that really stood out to us this year.
Yeah. So, and they're so hidden, I've barely seen any of them. But let me read off the nominees regardless. The nominees are Dead Talent Society, John Sue, His Three Daughters, Azazel Jacobs, Frankie Frico, Steven Kostansky, Snack Shack, Adam Reimier, and Strange Darling, JT Molnar. Let us know in the comments if y'all have heard of any of these movies. With that being said, looks like our winner here is Strange Darling, directed by JT Molnar. Woo!
Woo!
Max, I embarrassingly have yet to see Strange Darling, so please enlighten me and our oh-so-great listeners a little bit more about Strange Darling and why you came to this pick.
Strange Darling is an amazing movie. It's a lovely little movie. It's actually shot by Giovanni Ribisi, the actor, on 35mm film. And that gets mentioned at the beginning of the movie. There's a big shot on 35mm card that comes up at the beginning of the movie, which was interesting. But they are obviously very proud of that. And they should be because, not a lot of movies are shot on film these days. And it really paid off because it looks great. And the movie is very unconventional. The story structure is, I don't want to spoil how the structure of the story works because so much of that is also the meat on the bone thematically as well. It's just a great movie. And It has a lot of twists and turns, and you're going to want to go in knowing nothing about it. So I don't really want to say too much more. I will say about all of our other nominees here, His Three Daughters is the only one I haven't seen. That's the one that you saw.
It was great. It kind of cheating here because it was on Netflix, but I feel like I'm the only person who watched this damn movie. But it was pretty good. It's got Natasha Lyonne, Carrie Coon, and Elizabeth Olsen. I think it's based on a stage play, and it's kind of shot like a play. Great movie. I'd recommend it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but it's on my list. Quick shout out to Dead Talent Society and Frankie Frico. I saw those at Fantastic Fest. Dead Talent Society is really, really fantastic. It was on the top 12 on my list for a long time. Got bumped off late in the game, though, unfortunately for that movie. But it's represented here, and I love that movie. It's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's check them out.
Check them out. If you can. Like we said, they're pretty hidden. You're going to have to rent them or something on Amazon. I don't know if they're streaming anywhere, but watch them if you can.
Do it for the culture.
Do it for the culture. All right. Let's get into this next award here. This is the Do Not Let Them Aux Award for Achievement in Music. These are the movie scores or soundtracks that your annoying friend won't stop playing when you give them the aux. That annoying friend would be me.
Or your awesome girlfriend.
Yeah. This is going to be, let's open it up here, The Brutalist, score by Daniel Blumberg. The Substance by Rafferty. Strange Darling, the soundtrack by Zeeberg. Wicked, by the soundtrack by the Wicked movie cast. And the Challengers score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Opening it up.
What a great
here.
list of nominees. I think there's a clear winner here, but why don't you open up the envelope?
It is Challengers by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
What a score. I mean, really, just unfreaking believable. I would say, as the biggest snub for any movie in any category at the Oscars this year, this was like the score. So good. Max, what did you think?
I also think that this was like the score of the year. Crazy that it's not nominated for an Oscar. I think that this was probably the only score that really sort of takes over the movie that it's in. When I think of Challengers, I think of the music from Challengers. And Challengers is a great movie. I think of a lot of things when I think about Challengers, but the first thing I think about is that score, because hearing it in the Dolby Theater for the first time was insane. So, that.
Yeah, just an unbelievable replayability too. Great driving music, great working out music, great homework music. It'll get you pumped no matter what.
Yep.
But yeah, should I get into the final category here?
Yeah, get into the final category here.
So this is the MVP of the year. Whether it been the films that they starred in, the films they directed, or just the general cultural zeitgeist that they took a piece of. This is the MVP of 2024. So the nominees are Luca Guadagnino for directing both Challengers and Queer, Timothée Chalamet, starred in Dune Part 2 as well as A Complete Unknown, Zendaya for starring in Dune Part 2 and Challengers, Glenn Powell, who starred in Twisters, Hitman, and technically came out in December of 2023, but really bled into 2024, Anyone But You, as well as Sebastian Stan for his performance as Donald Trump in The Apprentice, as well as A Different Man. All these actors and director had great years doing great stuff, but there can only be one MVP. This was a hard pick for us, but I think we landed on the right one. So I'm going to open up my letter here, and it is Zendaya, our MVP of 2024.
Congrats to Zendaya. She was in the two best movies, I think.
She was in two generational bangers with both Dune Part 2 and Challengers. She obviously played huge roles in both of them. She was great in both of them. I'd say she was snubbed in a lot of these award shows from both of them. just two great performances and two fantastic, fantastic movies.
Yeah, and when I say two best movies, I mean of the people on this list, not necessarily of the year.
But these movies are both. We'll see when we get over top 12. But these are both great, great movies. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to say about our MVP Zendaya here?
No, Zendaya, I mean, great year. I think, like I said, she made Dune and Challengers, so she's almost MVP by default in my eyes. Two fantastic movies. Special shout out to all the other nominees. They had a great year. But Zendaya, she's taking it this year.
Taking it for us, yeah. But yeah, that was our first annual Sneakies. Congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to all the nominees. There are obviously so many other good performances and movies and scores and directors and cinematography that we'll get into a little bit with our top 12. But yeah, these were the best of the best for our eyes, our money. You want to take a quick break here before we get into our top 12s?
Yep, let's do it. We're back, and we're talking top 12. Norman, what's your 12?
Number 12, it's a controversial pick, but I feel like it's a good one to start with. Number 12, I had Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
Okay, starting hot. Okay. My 12 was Strange Darling.
Okay. So yeah, I guess these are both movies we kind of talked about a little bit before. Obviously in our awards, it was a huge swing. Megalopolis worked for me. I love the cast. I thought it looked beautiful. It was just an unforgettable experience seeing that movie. And it just kind of clicked for me. Even if I didn't totally get every single thing he was trying to do, it really felt like a once-in-a-lifetime movie. I think it earns its number 12 spot for me.
I agree. I think stylistically it's a really rich movie. Is it, like a masterpiece? I don't know about that, but it's like nothing you've ever seen, and I totally understand putting it on the list for that reason.
Will we be seeing Megalopolis on your list?
We will not.
Okay.
Spoilers.
I was just curious.
Yeah,
but anything
but
else
I did like that movie.
Yeah, cool movie. Anything else you want to say about Strange Darling that you may have missed during the Sneakies?
No, I mean, I said it during the Sneakies. Great movie, lots of twists and turns. Don't want to know much about it going in. I highly recommend it if you can find it. Shot on film. Great stuff. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, so we want to get to number 11 here.
Yeah. What's your number 11?
I had Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay.
Number 11.
All right.
I thought this was a very fun time. I went into this kind of not knowing anything. I think it would be the recommended way to go in. Very fun movie. It looked fantastic. The performances were incredible. Shout out Kristen Stewart. She is so good. I don't know what they were putting in the Twilight kids back in the day, but her and Robert Pattinson always bring their 110%.
Agreed.
Katie O'Brien, like I said, fantastic in this. A great standout performance. Breakthrough performance, I should say. Excited to see her in the new Mission Impossible. That's going to be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but this was a lot of fun. If you can handle some gore, I would definitely recommend this movie because I was a big fan of Love Lies Bleeding, and I really need to get around to watching it again. I saw it one time at theaters, and a fight almost broke out, so that was pretty cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, I might be Kristen Stewart's biggest fan. I'm a big fan of Love Lies Bleeding.
Have you seen Crimes of the Future?
I have, yes.
She's great in that, too.
Incredible performance in that movie. Crazy performance in that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that's another good one. But yeah, Love Lies Bleeding, really good stuff. I really like that pick for number 11. My number 11 is Nickel Boys. Might be a little lower than most people have it on their list. I think it is an amazing movie. It's dare I say, revolutionary. It feels like something that's really going to change the game going forward. Feels like a historical piece of work.
110%.
But as far as my enjoyment of the movie, I couldn't put it any higher than 11 because the movies ahead of it are they just speak my language, as we say, on Sneaking into the Movies. I think that it's really incredible, though. And the ending of the movie, the way that it unfolds, is fantastic. I didn't really see where it was going. And then when it hits you, it just punches you right in the face. It is like a deeply troubling but extremely effective ending. And that's kind of what I have to say about Nickel Boys. It's an amazing movie. That's my number 11.
Yeah, no, it was great. It might be showing up on my list in a little bit. I did really, really like Nickel Boys. But yeah, I'm not going to speak too much on it because it's coming up for me. But do you want to speak on number 10 here?
My number 10 is The Bike Riders.
My number 10 is The Bike Riders.
No way.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
All right, yeah, The Bike Riders is a great movie. It made me really want to, ride bikes with the boys. And that's honestly kind of what it's about. The iconography of these motorbike riders and how, like, forming a group changes over time. It's just a really interesting exploration over that. Like, sort of like losing control of your own creation. It obviously has a lot to do with making movies in my interpretation of the movie. I think it's just a really interesting, good movie with really good central performances from Austin Butler and Tom Hardy. And then the supporting cast is like deep as hell too. You got Mike Feist in here. You got Michael Shannon in here. You got Jodie Comer in here, giving a great performance. Norman Reedus. Everybody's here.
I totally agree. This was surprisingly kind of comfy movie to watch. I don't know why. Maybe it's just 'cause we're guys and it has this theme of like brotherhood and kind of, masculinity. And, it's always a whole thing, especially with a group of guys like this. But I mean, these guys love each other, whether they say it to each other or not. But yeah, I really like The Bike Riders. It was a shame that it just seemed like it didn't get the right distribution. So I think it went under a lot of people's radars.
Well, yeah, it had like a whole distribution snafu where it was at Focus first, I believe. And then it went to... Or no, it was at Disney.
There was a whole Centuries,
it was at
20th
20th
Century,
Century, and then it went to Focus. Yeah, you're right.
So it was in theaters for like a week. So I didn't even get to catch this one until it was on Peacock. But
oh damn,
yeah, I did really like it though. It was like I wrote this in my Letterboxd review, but it was like as warm as it was cold. I don't know if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah, it was a little sad, but it was
summary.
Yeah, a very sweet movie at the end of the day that I quite enjoyed with. Yeah, like you said, great performances. I love Austin Butler. I love Tom Hardy. I love that whole cast. But I guess that is both of our number 10s.
Yes.
I guess I'll go into number 9 here. I know we don't have the same one because you haven't seen this. I actually watched this today because I assumed it would be in my top 12. But that is Queer by Luca Guadagnino. Like we already talked about Luca a little bit. He was on our MVP list. Mm-hmm. The fact that he put this and Challengers, which may also not be on this list, out in the same year is ridiculous. They couldn't be more different. Queer is very quiet and somber. It has an incredible performance from the one and only Daniel freaking Craig. The cinematography is beautiful. I really didn't know that much going in. I've never read the book, but this movie does, it almost feels like a lot with a little. Like this movie feels incredibly grand in some points. Just the visual storytelling, just incredible. Like I think it asks a lot of you, a lot of points in this movie to just, look at what you're looking at and take that as is. Mm-hmm. But I really liked it. It was sad. It was a little cold. There's this whole sense of yearning throughout the whole thing, but I really liked it.
I still got to see it.
Yeah. Great score as well. Obviously, shout out Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yep.
But what was your number 9, Max?
My number 9 was nominated for the Oscars last year, but it did not get a theatrical release until June of this year. So I'm putting it on the 2024 list because in my eyes it's a 2024 movie because it didn't have theatrical distribution until, or wide theatrical distribution until June.
Okay.
And my number 9 is going to be Robot Dreams, the animated film directed by Pablo
okay.
Berger.
I've not seen this one.
It's fantastic. Really great sound in this movie. It's kind of interesting to have that takeaway from, like, I guess, an animated movie. But, like, if you think about it, it's, they have to develop a world within an animated movie, and the sound in the movie is just really great. A lot of really nice thuds. The dog works on the robot at the beginning of the movie. A lot of really great sound there. And also music supervision. There's a specific song that plays multiple times in the movie that works really well within the movie and sort of provides like a theme for the entire thing. I thought it was fantastic. It was lovely. Highly recommend it.
Is this on any streaming services?
This is on Hulu currently.
Okay, I will have to tap in. Yeah, so do you want to get a number 8 here?
Yeah, my number 8 is A Different Man.
Okay.
Really great stuff, directed by Aaron Schimberg. This is part of the Sebastian Stan double feature from this year, with that and The Apprentice. He does a really great job in this movie. Adam Pearson is fantastic in this movie.
Oh my God.
Just a really great movie about, like, our own insecurities and how much they define us. And also, like, aesthetics and how much sort of that goes into our daily lives. But yeah, it's a really great exploration of those things, and just a really great movie that you should check out. But yeah, what were your thoughts on A Different Man?
Spoilers, it's higher on my list, so I won't get too much into it now, but I did love A Different Man. I thought it was great. It was one of the funniest movies I saw this year.
It was really funny.
Total surprise for me. But I'll wait till I get to it on my list. But with that being said, number 8 for me, I don't know if this is coincidence. I kind of put them next to each other on purpose, but Luca Guadagnino's other movie from this year, Challengers. Which, what is there to say about Challengers that hasn't been said?
Yes.
It is like the definition of adrenaline. Just that score. The cinematography is beautiful. 3 incredible performances. I freaking loved Challengers. I was like feeling a little sick when I went to go see it, and I think it cured my sickness. It was that damn good. And I just felt it through my whole body. Yeah, like we said, it's got our MVPs and Leia in it. Just Josh O'Connor, Mike Faced. So good. Loved Challengers. Max, how did you feel about Challengers?
I love it. I think it's amazing. Might be talking about it later too.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll save that. But yeah, Challengers, good stuff. If you've seen it, I don't gotta tell you that. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure it's on Prime. Go watch it right this second. So good. But yeah, I guess that'll take us into number 7 here. And I have Nickel Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of already talked about this. Incredible movie, devastating movie, just really one of a kind, and the way it's shot is unbelievable. It's not going to work for everyone. I had some 2 old ladies walk out of my theater about 30 minutes in.
Is the whole movie going to look like this?
The whole movie going to look like this? Yeah. They probably worked at the Nickel Academy, but...
Whoa.
Yeah, that's bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, what a great one-of-a-kind movie. I loved it. The performances are great. He's barely in this, but shout out Hamish Linklater.
Yeah.
I recently watched Midnight Mass. Have you ever seen Midnight Mass?
I haven't, but I've heard he's good in it.
Okay, yeah. Girlfriend Bree got me to watch it this year, and he is so freaking good. That's like a top 5 TV performance for me ever. I've been wanting to rewatch it since. He is so good in that show. So I was just like, oh shit. I kind of did the Leo snapping and looking thing.
Yeah.
And he popped up in this. But yeah, Nickel Boys, devastating movie. I'm glad it's nominated for Best Picture. It was like impossible to find a screening of this, and now it's nominated for Best Picture, so hopefully more people will get to see it because it is that damn good.
Yep. I concur. Nickel Boys is really good.
Nickel Boys is really good.
My number 7 is Love Lies Bleeding, which we also talked about, so I'm not going to
Awesome.
get too much into it, but I'll just jump right into my number 6. That was Challengers, which we also
Heyo.
talked about. Really great movie. Luca Guadagnino, Zendaya, Mike Feist, Josh O'Connor. What more is there to say? Tennis. What was your number 6?
Talking about movies we've already talked about, it was A Different Man
Oh my God, it's in the same little corner for us.
Whoa. With the rewatch, I could see this going up even higher. I loved this. It was on. They finally put it on HBO. My girlfriend Brie and I watched it, and I had like the best time with this movie. It was all I could think about for like a solid week, just about how well directed, how goddamn funny this movie is. Oh my God, I was belly laughing. My jaw was on the floor at points. This is such a good movie. For me, if we were doing underrated, this would be number 1 for me of the year.
Yep.
I think everyone needs to watch this movie. Sebastian Stan and Adam Pearson are so good. They're stars.
Truly.
I really, really, really liked A Different Man. But, yeah, I guess that will take me into number 5 here.
That will take you into number 5 here.
All right. Number 5. So, my top 5, I'm going to be honest, except for one, is pretty interchangeable. I'm actually changing it from what my list is in front of me because it just doesn't feel right. But number 5 has got to be Robert Eggers' Nosferatu.
Okay.
What a big movie this was, by the way. Just when movies like this make money, it makes me happy. Like, really happy, you know? People are going to see this. They were seeing this over the holidays. But yeah, what an incredible, incredible movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just the performances were great. Shout out Lily Rose Depp. I was hating, I'm going to be honest, but she totally proved me wrong. I never watched The Idol because it was The Idol, but I remember Anya Taylor-Joy was supposed to be there, and she dropped out of this for another movie I'll be talking about. But Lily Rose Depp was incredible in this. Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok was incredible in this. Willem Dafoe was incredible in this. Nicholas Hoult was incredible in this. You know where I'm going with this. Such a good-looking movie, too. Just incredible shots. The world feels so disgusting and slimy and full of rats and lived in. And that one shot of Orlok putting his shadow over the city is like... That's why we want to make movies, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. If I could do something half that cool in my life, I will have won.
There were several shots in Nosferatu that were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of them. The ending is one of them. But yeah, really great movie, Nosferatu.
Good stuff.
My number 5 was Civil War.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew that one was going to shock Norman.
For context, I'm pretty sure that's in my bottom 5. I did not like Civil War, but you know, I know a lot of people who did. So why don't you explain to me and our listeners why you love Civil War?
Yeah, I just thought it was really amazing. I really love Alex Garland. For some background, Alex Garland is the writer and director of this movie. When the trailer came out, for some context, this could have gone in our holy shit that was actually good award. I know you don't agree, but for me personally, because when that trailer came out, I was like, oh my God, this looks like the dumbest thing ever.
It was.
And then you watch it and it's like, I disagree. I think it was just fantastic. I mean,
I'm gonna let you have this. This is a positive list.
I gotta have one of these every year. I mean, Babylon. Weren't podcasting when Babylon came out, so that would have been a whole thing. But
Hey, I had Megalopolis in my top 12, which will get me killed in some places.
hey, yeah, I mean, not in this place. I'm a fan of that movie too. So, but yeah, no, Civil War I thought was just really fantastic. It's really well shot. It's kind of an interesting exploration. Like, it's not my biggest fear going into the movie was it's a movie about an American Civil War coming out in the year 2024. It had the potential to be really, really fucking dumb, and I thought it was not. I thought it was pretty smart. The angle of following these photojournalists through a scenario of like an American Civil War was really well done. I think the fact that they don't really get into the motivations behind the war is pretty like deft choice. Like, I think that you, like, getting into the lore, if you will, of the Civil War, you're kind of getting off base because this movie is really focused on the photojournalists and what humans do when put in a situation of all-out anarchy and what photojournalism means in a world of chaos. I think that it was just really, really great. And it's like the first A24 movie that's like part of their, like, they're trying to venture out into blockbusters and make bigger movies.
Yeah.
This was the first of those movies, and it was their biggest success ever. Like, it's their highest grossing movie. So that's cool. I think that's cool and good.
Yeah,
for movies.
that's inherently a cool and good thing that people would rather go see this than other movies. Like I said, was not for me at all, but I gotta respect your opinion.
Yep.
Why don't you tell me your number 4?
My number 4 is Hitman. It's just a really amazing, light, fun movie. Should be up for all the Academy Awards in my eyes. Glenn Powell, Audrey Arjona are amazing. Some really great scenes in this movie. The scene where he's like undercover and using the phone, and he's got the wire on him. It's really amazing. Richard Linklater directed this. I think this is the first Linklater I've ever seen, and I got to go watch some more of his movies.
What?
Because this
That's unacceptable.
didn't disappoint. Yeah, I think it is the first one that I've
He's
ever
one of
seen.
my goats, dude. I just want to say, by the way, this was a number.
Oh, I've seen
12.
School
It's
of Rock. I've seen School of Rock. Never mind.
still unacceptable. But this was my number 12 until I saw Queer Today. This is number 13 for me. I also loved Hitman, but continue.
Yeah, I just think it's really, really great, light, fun. Pretty much the opposite of the last thing I talked about, where Civil War is just kind of like misery for 2 hours. This is just like so fun. Just amazingly fun. We need more movies like this, I think. And it's a shame that it only came out on Netflix. I got to see it in the theater because it was in the one Alamo Draft House by me, by chance. I mean, I live in Dallas, so it's kind of like a popular area. They kind of, we get stuff here. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Must be nice.
Yeah. So that was great to see it in a theater. I wish more people got to. That's my number 4. What's your number 4?
You know, I'm just going to say 2, 3, and 4. Or, you know what? Whatever. People are going to say this is too low. At number 4 right now, I got Doom Part 2.
What?
I'm sorry. I know. Let me explain. So this could probably be swapped out with at least 3 for me. Maybe I haven't watched in a while, but that's not to say this is like the coolest movie ever. This movie is so good. I've read the book. I'm a big Dune guy. I've also read Messiah and Child of Dune. I love Dune. I love that world. This is like a perfect movie. Like these top 4 for me are like all bangers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Dune Part 1 came out, and it was incredible, obviously. And I remember telling everyone, because I read the book, the crazy thing about Part 1 is that Part 2 is going to be 10 times better. And I think it was. It is so good. Such a great movie. Such a great ending. I'm so excited for Messiah. Denny is killing it. The cast is ridiculous. Austin Butler as Fade is one of my favorite performances this year. This was such a huge cultural moment. It makes me so happy how successful this movie was, because it's pretty out there. I don't think it really is for us because we're into weird, freaky shit, right?
Yeah.
But it's pretty out there for your average person.
It's not Avengers Endgame.
It's not Avengers Endgame. It's not even like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter. Like it's a lot. Curious to see where Messiah goes because it's even more. But yeah, no. Dune Part 2 is fantastic. There were just a couple movies that did it for me a little more.
So what was your number 3?
My number 3 was Anora.
My number 3 is also Anora.
Okay. I guess I'll start. Sean Baker might be the best working director right now out of this new class.
Probably. Maybe.
I think he has yet to miss, especially since the Florida Project. I think Red Rocket is like, I mean, it's a freaky ass movie, but it's criminally underrated. I'm so happy that he's getting his flowers with Anora because it is so good. I was floored. I laughed. I was depressed. I just loved it. Mikey Madison is a freaking star. I feel just like Sean Baker because he walked out of Scream and was like, damn, I need to get her in a movie. She's so good. She is so good. She's so good in this movie. I just loved Honora. I thought it was beautiful and devastating. And I don't know. I hope it wins Best Picture. I don't know if it will. That would be very, very cool. Obviously, it won the Palme d'Or. But yeah, I loved Honora. I'm all in on the Honora train.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Mikey Madison is not winning every award for this movie.
She deserves it.
She deserves it. I feel like she's going really underappreciated in all of this.
I think,
But, yeah. This one really, really stuck with me. Just visually, thematically, performance-wise, everything. I fucking love Sean Baker, and I cannot wait to see what this guy does next.
Yep, I love Sean Baker too. This like Cinderella story, like getting swept away by this, rich Russian guy, and like thinking you're on this beautiful ride with him, and then you're kind of, I don't want to spoil the movie, but the movie is devastating, like you said. I don't think
Absolutely.
I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen anything this year that was quite as devastating as Nora, where they leave you in the end. Just a really great movie. That's going to be my number 3. My number 2 is I Saw the TV Glow. I thought this was amazing. It's got my guy, Justice Smith. I really love the work that he's been doing for the past few years. I was a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons, a movie that you were not a fan of, right?
I just thought it was fine. Like, I thought you're going to hate me. I thought it was like as good as like a good Marvel movie. I didn't get why people were saying this was like the best thing ever. But it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I had a fun enough time.
I didn't think it was the best thing ever, but I thought it was. That's exactly right. Like, I think like it was as fun as it was good as a fun Marvel movie. Which,
yes, can you agree that there were people going way too crazy about this Dungeons and Dragons movie?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good. I think if you're claiming that it's like, Citizen Kane, I think that's a little out there. But
Yeah.
I get why people like it. I personally liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. But yeah, no. I Saw the TV Glow is a crazy movie, directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. It is a kind of interesting movie to talk about. It's about, there's been a debate about, how much it is about the trans experience versus like its conversation about media and nostalgia. I think it's about all of those things, like, obviously. But I think, I'm not trans, but I think that everything in the movie is,
Hey, there's still time.
just so there is still time. Yeah, it's very uniquely. It feels like, when you're like a kid and you kind of like feel this just like unsettling aura. It's really hard to describe what they kind of cultivated in this movie from the, direction and production design. It's a lot about nostalgia and how like going back and revisiting things, puts things in a new light. And
Kind of like, it kind of reminded me of Skinamarink.
it is a little bit, it kind of has that like quality, that scrappiness and quality to it. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, and like that feeling of like being a kid and like looking back on it and just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But continue. I did
just
really like this movie. Didn't make my top 12, but any movie with Connor O'Malley is a movie for me.
Oh my God, Connor O'Malley is great in this movie. He's that laugh that he does is incredible.
Shout out 506 for 5G.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a really incredible movie. It's one of those movies that I thought was like, like just one of the greats from this year. I think it's going to be really like, I'm going to hold it as one of the greats for a while. That's my number 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely due for a rewatch. But speaking of one of the greats from this year, at number 2, I got The Substance.
Makes sense.
I absolutely loved this movie. I knew little to nothing going in, other than that it was big at cons. Um, just on a random Wednesday, my girlfriend and I went and saw it, and I loved this movie. This movie was like a parasite in my brain. It still is. I can't stop thinking about this movie. It was so good. It was so, so, so fresh. I just hadn't seen something that's new and exciting and fun in so long. Half my theater walked out. It's definitely not for everybody. I cannot believe it's been getting nominated at the Oscars. I can't imagine a bunch of those old geezers trying to watch this movie. But yeah, I loved this movie. It looked beautiful. Like we said, the crash out performances were unbelievable. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. I'm glad that Demi Moore is getting something like this. Obviously, she doesn't typically do movies like this or really awards movies. She gave a beautiful, beautiful speech at the Golden Globes. If you haven't listened, go check that out. But yeah, I loved this. Coralie Fargy, if I'm saying her name wrong. Farge. She's French. I forget. I'd seen Revenge. I liked Revenge. I didn't even remember Revenge when I went into this. But yeah, this like blew me away. This just felt so wholly original and new and exciting. I don't know. Like I said, this is a pretty weak year for movies for me, even though I just talked about 10 movies that I loved. But this came later in the year, and I was like, holy cow. This is a modern classic for me. This is a movie I'll be watching every year for the rest of my life, at least once. I love The Substance. I loved it.
I, too, enjoy The Substance, but it's not going to be my number 1.
Fair enough. But yeah. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you probably heard of The Substance. If you haven't seen it, you're okay with gore. It's really good. Somehow there's a good Dennis Quaid performance in this movie, which, I don't know. Should tell you more than enough. But yeah, what else is there to say about The Substance? What a picture.
What was your number 1?
My number 1, this one hurts. This one hurts a lot. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. This was so underappreciated. This movie made no money. This is a modern classic for me by every definition of the word. And this is from the one and only Dr. George Miller. That's right. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. It's my number 1 movie of the year.
I was wondering what it was going to be. I really liked Furiosa too. It didn't make my list, but it almost cracked in there at the end, but I had to put the other movies I put in. But yeah, why do you love Furiosa?
I mean, for starters, I just really like George Miller. I think Fury Road is one of the greatest action movies ever. I saw that back when it came out, and it completely broke my young, fragile brain. I've gone to that movie at least once a year since it's come out. I love that movie. I love 3,000 Years of Longing, which came out in between this, or Furiosa and Mad Max Fury Road, another movie that made no money and was really underappreciated. Did you ever see that one?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did. I didn't love it, but I think that it's interesting how Furiosa borrows more from that movie than Mad Max, it felt like.
I was about to get into that, which is, I think, why Furiosa worked so well for me, because I kind of went in just expecting more Fury Road, but it really wasn't that. Obviously, there was a lot more of that. There's some incredible action and world building and all of that. Obviously, that one shot with the paraglider guys when it first goes up with the camera, like that's what movies is all about. I got full body chills when that happened.
Yep. That's when you lean in.
Chris Hemsworth gave the best performance I've ever seen from him. He is so good in this movie. Anya Taylor-Joy does so much in this movie, so underappreciated. She doesn't even talk for most of this, but it's all in her face. And she's so just good at conveying all that, everything Furiosa's feeling. Later on in the movie, she starts feeling more like Charlize Theron's Furiosa, which is just crazy. If you notice that, you'll notice it, and it'll tickle your brain. But yeah, this was like the perfect B-side to the A-side, I guess, of Fury Road. It's totally different. It doesn't end in a big car chase. It ends in a conversation, and it's an incredible conversation. This movie looks beautiful. I was so sad this movie didn't make money. I love this movie. I've watched it like 3 times this year. It's one of those movies now I just put on when I need something on in the background, whether I'm cleaning or whatever. Yeah, this is an all-time, one of the best of the decade for me. We don't deserve George Miller.
Yeah, we don't. That is a great movie. My number 1 is Dune. We talked about it before, but there were like a million points in that movie where I leaned over to my brother and said, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life." But yeah, coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. There you have it. Put it on the Blu-ray. Yeah, it might be the greatest movie of all time. I don't, sounds like I'm glazing right now. I'm not. This is real. I don't, it's just a freaking amazing classic movie. I saw nothing else this year. It's been at number 1 since March. I haven't even thought about moving it one time. Not one time.
That's where I've been with Furiosa since May, by the way. But
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Furiosa is good too, but Dune, man, that was I'll never forget that. That was insane. But that's gonna be our top 12.
It's really nice, by the way. There was a giant sand movie for everyone this year.
There was really a giant sand movie for everyone. But yeah, that's been our top 12. Thank you for joining us this morning or evening, whenever you're listening to the podcast, as you can listen to it whenever you want to. But yeah, Norman, you got anything to say to the people before we head out?
If you haven't watched Furiosa, go watch it. And feel bad you didn't pay to see it in IMAX because it was unbelievable. I love this movie. Totally snubbed from the Oscars too, but what are you going to do?
Yep, I concur with that statement.
Yeah, we will be back. You know what? Really quickly before we go, what's going to win Best Picture, Max? Not your pick. What's going to win, though? Even if it is your pick. What's going to win? Like, realistically.
What's going to win realistically? Anora. Lock it in.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm locking in Anora too. It's happening. Emilia Perez, there's a bunch of racists in that movie. Brutalist, there's a bunch of AI in that movie. It's got to be Anora. Anora or we riot.
Watch The Substance wins.
Oh, bro. I'm going to go crazy if The Substance wins. But
if The Substance wins, that's like the impact of the Luca trade. Like, that'll just be like everybody will be. Yeah, no. There's not even any point in talking
that would
about
change
it.
It's not going
to happen. But
it's not going to happen. But I hope it's Anora. I really do. That would be very surprising, very exciting. As long as it's not Emilia Perez or Wicked, I don't really care. But whether you're watching or not, we'll be here Monday talking about the Oscars. So we're excited to see what wins, what loses. I feel like if you listen to this episode, you kind of know what we're rooting for, what we're not rooting for, what isn't there that we're rooting for. Furiosa. But yeah. Anything else, Max?
No, just thank you for sneaking in with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.